Hello, my friend. Good afternoon again. So today is something really special on my mind. I had an incredible experience this weekend, past weekend. A very dear friend of mine brought a group of friends, and we had a nice dinner. Um, Way back when, in the in the early 2000, I brought him to the attention to him because I know he loves Recioto, sweet wines. Most of the time people call them uh, they called dessert wine, but actually they are meditation wine they were made because the monks during the 13th, 12th, 13th centuries, they used to translate the books from Aramaic, Arabic. And so one of the things is when you're reading too much, your sugar level goes down. So they made a wine that helped them boost their energy up, and also was pleasant and give a nice little character and feel to the flavors. One of the most famous of all this wine, in particular in Italy, this is true. It's the recioto. Recioto means the ears. So basically, what the monks they used to do, because they produce grapes for the mass. And then, I mean, they used to do the Eucharisma or the Eucharisti, which is the mass in the morning, afternoon, and night. They give the body of Christ, which was the bread, and then the blood of Christ, which is the wine. So every monastery, every church owned the X amount of acres of land, which mostly were on olive oil, which for the christening, and then also grapes for the wine for the ceremony. But in order to sharing with the farmers, instead of taking the whole grapes, they just took the little cluster on the side in the area of Verona. The grapes they most used was Corvina, Corvinone, Molinara, Rondinella, which is a very large bunch of grapes. They did very well during the ripening because they didn't get any mold because it separated big berries. And so the monks used to take out those small bunches on the side, which meant the ears, the recia, which I gave the name to the wine, Recioto, and they appassimento. They did a method called appassimento, which basically they put them in a straw mat inside the house on the high level of the apartments or the abbey, where there was good ventilation, and the grapes, the berry himself, they start drying. In the drying process, they lost a lot of water. What they did is they concentrated the fruit and, of course, the flavor. One of the appassimento method is basically in the islands they do on the sun, under the sun. Here they did it with the temperature, warm temperature of the rooftop. So they call mansarda. Basically, that's the attics in English. And there was a lot of work there. That's why monks are famous for, they say, work like a monks, because they do a lot of very meticulous work. And one of it is make sure that the berry didn't get rotten. So, because if it did, it was no use for winemaking. But they just get it dry long enough to have a concentration in sugar. And so then they pretty much crush like regular grapes. Of course, the quantity is very small. The concentration is very high. And there's these gorgeous, big body flavors like black cherry, chocolate, aftertaste, like a little bittersweet, and marasca, which is the liqueur made out of cherry. Very complex and unique, sometimes really bombastic on the palate if it's made it too simple. But in many ways, they used to use a kind of characteristic of small barrels or large vat for the recioto, especially the cherry woods. It gives also another layer of notes and flavors. So my friend brought from his cellar a wine that I sold to him in the early 2000, and probably one of the greatest wine of all time when it comes to that category, which was the Romano dal Forno Recioto, which basically doesn't make anymore. He makes it in a very different name, but the old Recioto, the old classic Recioto dal Forno, is legendary. The concentration, the aromatics, the profile, and the flavors are bursting in your palate. It's something that you never forget. It's one of those wines that takes few minutes to really understand, and the silence of the room has to give you the opportunity to reflect upon what's going on in your palate. There's a lot of revolutionary things happens, and in most cases, it's very simple. I ask my friend, so what do you think? And my friend's like, it's very yummy. So that's another way to explain it. It's very yummy. However, I say, well, wait a little bit and start slicing down the yumminess expression of yours to see what we get. And one of the things that happens over time when the wine start really truly breathing and approaching the level of drinkability that is really worthy of spending time to understand the dimension of this wine, because sometimes sweet wine or wine with a very high sugar content tended to be looked upon the simplistic, which is far from it. What happened is the first introduction to the palate, obviously, the fruit, the sweet notes are so overwhelming, impactful that you tended to, that's all to remember. However, what's happening after, it's really amazing and interesting and exciting. And that's really what this wine needed time to enjoy and understand. So we opened a 1997 legendary vintage, unique vintage. I sold every single bottle I had, so I knew that possibly there was nothing around. And of course, I was incredibly surprised when my friend Dr. Gallone brought it in, and he brought 2 bottles because he has another 5 or 6, which excites me that you cannot believe. That's why I'm talking about it, because I'm really excited about next time he comes in to bring another bottle, because this time I want to have it with the cheese, with a nice gorgonzola dolce latte. I want to have it with a beautiful 78% the pure Honduran chocolate, and just have a different emotional moment. And I know this is kind of contrary to some of the things you heard from me before, where I think wine is simple, everybody enjoy. Well, yeah, wine is like us. We are complicated sometimes. And the complication is more in our brains, in our intellectuality, in our way of see things, than in actuality. For some people, it's just yummy. For me, it's amazing. So amazing, translated, complex, interesting, exciting, and so on and so forth. So if you ever come across to this wonderful 375 millimeter bottle of Recioto by Romano dal Forno, please, whatever the price is, don't be shy. It's going to be one in your lifetime. One of those memory. It's like you were sitting in Rome, in Piazza Navona, and you were having a cappuccino, okay? And a very beautiful young version of Sophia Loren walks in with a linen dress on, and it just kind of like, you're going to stop, and you're going to stop, and then you're going to tell every friend you ever known as you cannot believe I just saw it. It was amazing. I can still smell the perfumes, and the image will not go away. Well, hey, that's what happened when you drink in Dal Forno Romano Recioto. It's one of those, maybe because I'm Italian, I don't know about you, but that's what happened to me. So, ciao, arrivederci.